Hello students, today we are going to have the explanation session of a chapter called Wind, which belongs to the English literature portion of Standard 9. So let us start with it. Wind is a poem which is written by Subramanya Bharati in Tamil. It was written initially in Tamil, later on it was translated into English by another poet called A.K. Ramanujan. Okay? So what is it all about? We all have experienced the wind. We all have been the part of a situation wherein we faced the wind. It is a very, very speedy air which is damaging and destructive in nature. It doesn't spare anyone or anything that comes in its path. So here, the poet tries to talk to the wind as if it is a human being. Okay, that means there is the use of personification as a figure of speech over here. The poet considers wind to be a human being which is listening to the poet, and the poet tries to talk to the wind. Now let us see what the poet tells the wind. The poet says, "Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf." The poet goes on requesting the wind not to break the window shutters, not to scatter the papers, not to throw the books here and there, but the wind doesn't listen at all. The wind is very, very stubborn. It doesn't listen to the poet at all. And finally, what does the wind do? We'll come to know. "There, look what you did." See, what is the poet saying? "There, look what you did. You threw them all down." That means the poet was asking the wind not to cause any kind of a destruction, but finally the wind did it. What did the wind do? See the poem. "You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again." That means the poet gets very, very angry and says, "Look what you did. You threw the books, you tore the pages, you brought the rain again along with you." Then he understands the motive of the wind and points it out. What does he say? "You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings." Here, poking fun means making fun, and weakling means weak people or weak things, breakable things. These are called as weaklings. So the poet says that the wind is very, very clever. He enjoys or it enjoys making fun of the weak people or weak things. It enjoys breaking them. It enjoys damaging them. Now see the next line. "Frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters." What is rafters? Rafters is an inverted V-shape roof of a house or a hut. It is V in shape. It is inverted. Okay, inverted V-shaped roof of a house is called rafter. So frail means weak. Frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. Everything is crumbling. That means the poet says that the wind crumbles the houses, doors, rafters, wood, everything. It crushes down everything. Now see the next line. "The wind god winnows and crushes them all." Here the wind again is compared to God. It seems like the wind god is winnowing. Now what is winnowing? Winnowing is a process of separation of grains from husk. That means it is a scientific process of separation of the husk from the grain. In a flat surface, the grains are all laid, and then with the help of the wind, the husk, which is lighter than the grain, is carried away. So that is the process of winnowing. So the poet says that the wind god winnows and crushes them all. That means everything is crushed, everything is shattered. Okay. That is exactly what happens when a very, very strong wind blows. It damages everything. Everywhere it is all dusty. The branches of the trees break and fall. Many times we see that the big trees have all fallen down because of the strong wind. And there are many things that get damaged because of that wind. Okay, so this is the power of wind which has been described by the poet. Now, in the next line, he says, he won't do what you tell him. Who is he over here? He is the wind. And now the poet is not talking to the wind. Now the poet starts talking to the common people who are being badly affected because of that strong wind. He tells the people that the wind is not going to listen to anyone. The wind is very, very stubborn. It will not listen to anyone. So we have to take protective measures. We have to be very, very strong. We have to strengthen ourselves so that we can fight back the intense power of the wind. Let us see what does the poet say about this. Let's join the doors firmly, practice to firm the body, make the heart steadfast. Okay, the poet says that let us join doors firmly. Firmly means strongly. Practice hard and strengthen our body, make our heart very, very strong. Let us all transform ourselves, okay, so that the body is ready to face the power of the wind. Once we are able to transform ourselves into a strong person, the wind will not be able to frighten us anymore. The wind will become our friends. See, over here it is written, do this and the wind will be friends with us. The wind will become our friend. It will not be destructive anymore. Okay. Next line says, the wind blows out weak fires. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. Flourish means to grow. See, over here, now the poet is trying to bring out the positive aspect of the wind. The poet says that the wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. Now, what is this weak fire and strong fire? Weak fire is a fire which is not burning with a very, very high intensity. It is very, very weak. And when a very strong wind blows, the weak fire is turned off. But what is a strong fire? A strong fire is a fire that is burning with a very, very high intensity. It has the power to burn down everything. To that, the wind will act as a catalyst. It will make the fire stronger and the fire will grow higher and higher with a very high intensity. That is what the wind will do to a very strong fire. Now here, the strong people are being referred to as the strong fire. The poet is saying that the strong people make friendship with the wind and use its power to move ahead. And thus the friendship of the wind is a blessing for the strong ones. Okay. Now in the last two lines, the poet says his friendship is good. We praise him every day. Again, his friendship means the friendship of the wind. The wind's friendship is good for the people who are very, very strong, who know how to face it. Okay. And people should praise the power of that wind and transform themselves into very, very strong personalities. Okay. And that's how the poem is concluded. Now, this was the literal meaning of the poem line by line. But the meaning of the poem is not restricted only to its words. It has a hidden meaning too. Now, what is that hidden meaning? Let us discuss. The wind that the poet describes over here is a symbol. It's a symbol of the problems and challenges that we face in our life. The adversities of life, basically. Just like the strong destructive wind, there are problems in our life too. If we get scared of them, they multiply their size and cause much destruction in our life, much damage in our life. But if we assume those problems to be challenges and fight them hard, they lose their destructive power and they start paving a path for our betterment. We grow when we face challenges in life. So the poet wants us to become very, very strong and fearlessly face the challenges in life. This is exactly what the poet wants to convey through his poem. So this was the meaning, the hidden meaning of the poem. I hope you all have understood the poem. Do read the poem nicely and feel free to approach in case of any difficulty. Thank you. Stay well.